I recently did a video about how much this cost, and I added it up and it was pretty scary. Just the conversion with a turbo, doing everything myself, was about 30K.
All right, one car I've been following the last few years on YouTube is Tristan's Civic. Tristan's got a YouTube channel, Turbo Tristan. Tristan, tell us all about this ride, mate.
So this is just a $1,000 Civic that I picked up just at the end of 2019. And I hadn't been registered for about 3 years, so I had to get it roadworthy. It was that jungle green 90s colour that every Camry and Commodore is, so I rubbed that paint off and spray paint it black with rattle cans. Came up not too bad. A lot of people don't believe me.
It's a rattle can paint job.
Yeah, the whole car was done in a carport rattle can by myself, first time. And then I went about turboing the single jingle D series, and I put a Wuhan war whistle on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made 150 kilowatts on this dyno on 10 PSI with a pretty stock build. Yeah, I lifted the head. That was a backyard build as well. And then I bought this car with the intention of going all-wheel drive K-swap and making a million YouTube kilowatts. That engine blew, chuck in a K-series, probably blow this up. Then I'll go all-wheel drive and send it, and hopefully by then I can afford to do a proper build.
You were telling me another time that this has the same wheelbase as
A CRV.
a CRV, that's it. So that's a donor car that a lot of people use.
Yeah, so you use the K24 engine from a CRV or an Accord, but that gearbox bolts on and the drive shaft is the same wheelbase as the sedan. If you use a hatch, you got to shorten it. So that was another reason why I picked up this. Plus the sedans are cheaper than hatches.
Yes, of course.
And they come with more features, like a hatch doesn't even get a sway bar at all or anything, no tacho, no nothing. So a lot of people do the hatchback to get that cool like Type R look, but you're getting nothing with the car. So I went with a sedan for those few reasons, because I always knew I was going to turn it into an all-wheel drive.
But you'd have to cut up the rear, would you? It wouldn't just...
So you need to notch out a little section of the rear subframe, and then you bolt in a bracket which takes the diff, and that's it.
Too easy. You don't see too many of them in Australia, but admittedly the last probably 12 months there's a few popping up in Sydney.
I know of about 6 or 7 Integra all-wheel drive turbos that are going on now, and then there's a whole bunch of sleeper hatches around.
Our MR2, I was like, nah. I originally thought I might K-swap and thought, nah, 3S. The more of these cars I see on the net, I'm just like, it's pretty tempting.
I did the same thing.
I don't think there's a 4-cylinder out there that reacts as well as this. It's like it makes the power of a 6-cylinder in a 2 litre or 2.5 litre, yeah.
And they breathe like a 6-cylinder or a rotary as well, because they've got massive ports. And like I was an SR boy, then I was an RB boy, and now I'm a Honda boy. Yeah. Because you can't beat the value for money in the K-swap. So.
But these are now have gone up in price like everything, haven't they? You can't even buy a $1,000 beater so much, can you?
You buy nuggets for like $5 now, which is, it just disgusts me, but that's what they are.
Yeah, it is what it is. One part that's not black is the engine bay. Now, what was your reasoning behind this? I quite like it. It's different.
I like the colour because I'm 80s, 90s kid.
Yeah, we're similar age, so I get it.
And the other thing is I wanted it to stand out so I was instantly recognisable around the world. If someone saw this bay, they would know, oh, that's Turbo Tristan's car. So that's the main reason. So it stands out. It was a bit of a poser move, but at least people know this is my car.
So this K24, let's pop the bonnet.
Yep.
I know there's different models, so which one's this?
So this one's a K24 A3, which is your standard Accord engine. So the engine itself is stock standard.
So is this the same engine that's in the Accord on your channel currently?
Yep, exactly the same engine. All I've changed on this one is the oil pump, and I redid the timing gear and chain and just gave it a service and banged it in the car. I put another Wuhan war whistle on there. This one's a 3076 from Max Peating Rods.
Yep.
They've been good to me, they've helped me out. So we've got the Max Peating Rods turbo, manifold, and coilovers in the front.
You've got a fair bit of room back here, actually.
Yeah, it's heaps of room.
Yeah, I didn't realise you'd have that much space, considering you've got headers and everything on it.
I would have liked to do a traditional side mount, because that would mean the exhaust would be easier for me to make because
Yeah.
I fabricated the
All right.
exhaust myself. I taught myself to TIG, so
And this is something from the States, or?
yeah, 1320 from one tip for all you kids out there is watch it on eBay, and if you just watch it, they'll send you messages, and they actually said, oh, we've got a scratched one you can have for half price. So it's a $1,200 manifold I got for $600 because it had a scratch on it, and when it turned up I couldn't see the scratch, so I was like, it's winning.
Hey, at least they're honest.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, if it's going overseas, it turns up and it's damaged.
No, it was a blessing. One of my subscribers works at Hasport that does the mounts.
These look nice.
So they're a $1,000 mount that I got a deal on because he works there. But everything else is Aussie. It's Raceworks and Turbo Smart. I don't skimp out on fittings, injectors. It's running a Haltech ECU, so those things I think are important. Like you can get away with a Chinesium turbo because it's just an air pump at the end of the day. And if it blows, you just replace it.
Raceworks and Turbo Smart have both been big supporters of fullBOOST over the years. Good bunch of guys to deal with.
Yeah, they're awesome. I always like Scotty and Jamie. Really helpful guys, and I put everything I could on there. We're actually working on some other bits for K-Series now through Raceworks, so can't wait to try those out. I recently did a video about how much this cost, and I added it up and it was pretty scary. Just the conversion with a turbo, doing everything myself, was about 30K.
Yeah.
You could do it for about 15 or 20 and keep it non-turbo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're not cheap. People seem to think they're like a couple of grand and bang everything in, but you got to wait for parts to come from America. They're expensive. Like they're now what everyone's running in roll racing and drags, and you know they've shown they can make good power. So
it's turning into K swap the world, isn't it? These
K swap
engines.
The world. K is the way, as they say.
One thing Honda's been renowned for over the years is, I guess, the gearbox durability.
Yep.
Like, they go down the track and it sounds like a motorbike shifting at like 11,000 RPM, and you think, how the heck can they shift a gearbox that was never made for boost, but they put up with a hell of a lot. Look, I know a lot of them are built, but these are fairly stout and standard form, aren't they? Most Honda gearboxes.
I think it'll hold. I haven't tested it, but I think it'll hold 500 or 600 horsepower with a factory Accord gearbox. So
did you buy this as one with the gearbox?
Yeah, I bought an engine and gearbox combo that someone was wrecking a car.
Yeah.
It had about 190,000 Ks on it. I paid $1,300 for the engine and gearbox, and it had the manifold injectors and stuff, but chucked all that away.
What's the difference between, say, this engine and what's in a CRV?
A CRV has a different head and throttle body, I think. It is slightly different. They don't lend themselves very well to plug-in aftermarket ECUs, but you can do it.
Yeah, but so in terms of like engine strength, I mean, I've been told you know a lot more about this than me, that these are sort of good for about 400 wheel horsepower, roughly.
Yeah, that's Australian wheel horsepower. If you're in America, it's about 600 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
There's plenty of videos with 600 and 700 horsepower, 10-second all-wheel drive standard engines. So I'd say 450 is pretty safe before you have to start rebuilding it.
I'm used to looking at Hondas and the radiators are like this wide.
Yeah, you can run the small radiator on this. Because I knew it was going to get hot and see the track, I got the big radiator. Made my own radiator hoses.
It's come up a treat, mate. Well done.
Got the same size cooler on my VL, and it fits here better than it does on the VL.
So if this was 1320 video, Tristan, the first question would be, how much boost do you run?
Well, it's got a 7-pound wastegate in it. I had a 10 in there, but then I got scared of throwing a rod, so I put a 7-pound gate spring in there on the Turbo Smart wastegate, and it creeps a little bit. These Sidewinder manifolds are known to creep, so I did that with that in mind, knowing it's probably going to hit 10 pound. So between 7 and 10, I don't know.
Have you done a power run in this on the dyno, or just road tuned it?
No, so my friend Evan from Unigroup Engineering in Sydney, we've been friends for 25 years, and I just called him up, put the laptop in, hot spot, and we went for a test around, and he said it was safe to belt on, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, bang it on the dyno, but front wheel drives don't always show really what they're making, because they always, even in a car like this, even if you haven't got heaps of power in it, they do tend to have trouble just trying to grip the rollers. In a car like this, realistically, 200 kilowatts at the wheels would feel pretty quick on the street, I'd imagine.
It feels fast, but then it's spinning the wheels because they're only cheap tyres, so it might make a lot more power but feel slow at the moment, but I really don't know.
Have you weighed it? Have you scaled it or anything? No.
It's got to be close to 1,000.
Yeah. You're on E85?
E85,
yeah.
yep. 1150cc Raceworks injectors and a Walbro 460 pump in there. So these seats are actually out of an S2000. I picked them up from Marketplace for 200 bucks. They've seen better days, but the good thing with Hondas, they're like Lego. So you just unbolt them off the S2000 rails and bolt them straight onto the Civic rails. All factory Civic, height adjustable, all the rails all work. And it's just got the back panel bolts straight on and the seat panel clips in and bolts on.
What's this snazzy shifter in here?
That's a hybrid racing shifter. I liked it because it was black. It feels really good in the hand.
I owned a DC5 Integra Type S, the last of them. And yeah, it's hard to go past the Honda gearbox. They just shift so nice.
I've found if you don't try and force it, because you're used to going up, down, diagonal, if you just keep pushing up and down, it'll find the gear.
It just finds the gear.
Yeah.
Another product I haven't seen before, didn't realise Raceworks were doing steering wheels here.
Yeah, Raceworks have just started doing steering wheels and seats, so they're coming out soon. I was lucky enough to test these and they're really strong. They don't have any wobble in them, so I think they'll do well. So it seems to be a bit of a trend. Everyone's putting like 14s and 15s on Civics. I bucked the trend and put 16s on there, and it's got actually Mini Cooper brake rotors and Integra calipers.
How'd you come up, is that something other people have done?
Yeah, it's called the poor man's brake upgrade, which I'm definitely fall into that category. The back, they come factory with discs, so that was easy, just put some rotors on there. White line sway bars are all the way around.
A lot of the times now, you've got more choice in tyres, getting a 15. 16's an oddball size.
Yes, I can't get tyres for this. I wanted to put some RE003s or some, what are they called, Nankang semi-slicks, and I can't get them in the size, so go on 5-star next.